Oh, yes, this is cool. We've been talking about this guy a lot, and look at him. Look at that handsome face. If you have the ability to watch on video, what a gorgeous man Grayson Waller is. How are you, Grayson?
I don't know what's going on. Why are you giving me such big compliments? You've always got a reason, Peter Rosenberg, so I'm trying to work it out. But regardless, I'm going to take the compliment.
I don't want to admit this to you, but I may have said in the last couple of weeks that there is no one better in the business on the microphone right now than Grayson Waller. What do you say to this?
I don't think that's a lie. I think some people will try and argue it, but when you look top to bottom, this entire industry right now, not just what I'm doing, not just what I'm saying, but who I'm doing it against and how often I'm doing it, like I think I'm untouchable. You bring someone up from NXT, you put them in the ring with John Cena on the mic. I'm telling you, 99 out of 100 of them are going to lose their mind. They're going to flub. It's going to be too much for them. But for Grayson Waller, that was just another night.
So when what you're saying sounds like you're just saying it, but the truth is, I got to tell you, I don't know the last time I saw someone who's so wholly confident when you're on the microphone. How long have you been that way? Like, was that the part that came really easily to you, or has that been a series of like just working over time and something you perfected in NXT, etc.?
I think anyone who's seen my stuff independently in Australia, I think the microphone was always where I was at my best. And I think part of that is me being Australian. As an Australian, like banter is huge for us. We'll say something mean to our friend's face, but something nice behind their back. Like it's always something where we're joking around. So this is who I am. This is how I talk normally if anyone knows me for real. So on the independents, I got to play with that. But then coming here to NXT, I put as much effort into what I do and what I say as I put into the wrestling part. And that's something people don't understand. They think it just comes natural, which obviously it does. I'm not going to say that, I don't have some advantages, but I put a lot of work into this. I make sure that I'm watching other people who talk like this. I watch a lot of videos of people who are confident. I still remember one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from Nigel McGuinness when he was commentating on 205, and I was doing 205, and no one cared who I was. I was a legit no one wanted to bar me. And Nigel pulled me aside and he talked to me about Muhammad Ali. And he said, when Muhammad Ali talks and when Muhammad Ali fights, he knows he's the best in the world. It doesn't matter who he's against. You don't. And that piece of advice stuck with me, where I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, there's part of me thinking I still need to learn more. I still need to improve more. I need to be coached more, like all these type of things. But it was coming out in my performances. So the moment Nigel said that, and I had full confidence in myself to perform, I think everything went to a different level.
Shout out to Nigel McGuinness, man. I miss that guy. He's doing a great job doing a commentary on Collision for AEW. But yeah, he's a delight to have around. A really wise, beyond his years kind of man.
And I'll just say NXT, what a wild place it is right now. No one knew who Nigel McGuinness was. There was two people, myself, Andre Chase. So Nigel McGuinness would sit backstage at NXT shows, and no one would go talk to him. Me and Andre Chase would go and sit with him, and we would pester him because we know Nigel. We know how good Nigel is.
People didn't know he was the legend. People didn't know like his history.
They thought he was a commentator, lad. They thought he was a commentator. These dumb shot putters from Arizona State or wherever had no idea, lad. So me and Andre Chase, we get basically a seminar with Nigel McGuinness whenever we want it. It was a treat. I miss having him around. He always had really strong advice for me, like real advice. No, he wouldn't mess around. He's not faking me out. Good job, buddy. Like he's going to tell me how it is, which that's what I always enjoy.
I want to get into some of the things you've done recently, but the reason you're here is because it is happening, Perth, Australia, this February 24th. 70,000 Aussies packed in to see Grayson Waller. How are you feeling about Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia?
Mate, I'm buzzing. This is all I've wanted for so long is a show in Australia. And then not only do they give me the show that I wanted, they give me the Elimination Chamber, the show that basically builds WrestleMania, premium live event, Optus Stadium, 70,000 people. And it's interesting because in the O2 Arena, John Cena wanted WrestleMania in London. Grayson Waller wanted WrestleMania in Australia. Now, since that, number of premium live events announced in London, 0. Number of premium live events announced in Australia, 1. That's Grayson Waller, 1. John Cena, 0. You can't see me, loser. I can't wait to tell him tonight. I can't wait to tell him.
That is the Grayson Waller effect for real. Wow, 1-0 over John Cena.
this is what I do. But like this show is going to be massive, and I know the Australian fan. Like it's been 4 years since our last live event, and they've, you know, through pandemic and all these things, it just kept getting cancelled. And the Australian fans are huge. They love WWE, and now you have so many prominent Aussies too, like Rhea Ripley, absolutely killing it. One of the biggest stars in the entire business, and they haven't been able to see her and appreciate her and support her when she was that high. So I think this is going to be an event where they're going to come out and support us.
Where did you go to any live events as a kid?
I went to a bunch. You know, I grew up in Sydney, so we had the Sydney Superdome. They would kind of do it every year. The first show I went to, I still remember. You know, I don't like him now, but it was Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, which is a crazy match to see that you got to stay live. And my mum to this day still talks about it because she talks about, you know, the white hair flying through the air and he's taking a big back body drop. So I've got to see some cool events. I got to see Super Showdown in 2019, which was at the MCG, which was a massive show. And sitting there as an independent wrestler, kind of dreaming of being on it. Now this is all coming true. It's kind of wild.
In Australia, how recognizable are you just from being on Australian Survivor?
I wouldn't say dramatically. You know, with reality TV, 6 months later, there's a new season of the show, and all of a sudden, you're not the guy anymore. But I always use Survivor as a platform for my wrestling. That was always a way for me to get my name out there and make sure that people in America and other countries were paying attention to me because they say, oh, he's on a reality show. That's something different rather than, oh, he's an independent wrestler. I had to have a differentiating quality. So there might be 3 or 4 people that remember Maddie from Survivor, but I think a large 99% of people will be like Grayson Waller from WWE.
And when was the last time you spent real time in Australia? How often are you there?
So I got to go back December last year, only for 2 weeks, and it was kind of like more of a work trip than a fun trip, but it was cool. I got to see my family, got to spend Christmas there. You know, I didn't have to be in the snow. I was on the beach at Christmas. It was a beautiful thing. Like I miss that place so much. And I'm excited that we're going in February. So I get away from the cold, the snow, whatever terrible town they want me to do SmackDown in. I get to go back to Australia. It's gonna be great.
I was considering, my wife and I are considering honeymooning in this December in Australia. Is December a good time to go to Australia?
I would say that's perfect
where you're going.
Because you got to think you're getting away from winter and you're going to like the start of summer. The middle of summer, like January, that's when it's going to be super hot. You know, for a guy like, I'm sure you're going to get sunburn, all those type of things. You'll have to wear, you know, maybe a rashie or something to protect your body. But December's the perfect time. It's gorgeous, especially depending where you go. You know, you go out, stay near the ocean. There's nice breeze. Like, man, you're going to love it.
I assume the Maddie Wahlberg thing on the Indies, was that just you taking your name, going with the old wrestling move of just adding a famous, handsome name, and there we go?
Well, not many people know this, so I try not to say it too much. But you know, back in the late '80s, my Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch did a tour of Sydney, and Mama Waller, you know, spent quite a night with Mark Wahlberg. And, you know, 9 months later, here I came. At least that's what she's told me. That's what she's always told me my whole life. I don't know who my dad is, so she's told me that's my father. So, you know, maybe that's why I'm so good looking, why I'm so athletic, all those type of things. Maybe that's why I'm a star like I am. That's just what she told me, though.
I want to see what the release date for Good Vibrations was, because I think the math might actually add up here.
Look, I'm just saying, like, I don't like to call my mum I hope you're not going to call my mum a liar here. No. That would be very offensive. You know, why would she lie to me?
I would never do anything like that. Marky Mark did drop that song when he was 20 years old.
Yeah, she loves the younger pup, unfortunately. You know, tough to do.
And you were born in 1990, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, this is unfortunate. So Good Vibrations was released in 91. So if this story is true, just so you know this about your mom, she was interested in Marky Mark before he even had the success of Good Vibrations.
That's what a cool chick. You know, that's kind of my mum's vibe. What a good lady. You know, she's not there. She's not star chasing. She ain't like these other mums star chasing. You know, she's getting at the ground level. I appreciate she jumped on the bandwagon early. Good on you, Shez. Good on you, Shez.
Now, I overheard you at the last show talking football, and you are very into American football. How long has that been a thing? How did you fall in love with the Philadelphia Eagles, for God's sake? Talk about putrid cities. I mean, come on.
Hey, careful. Philly's been the only place that's been nice to me so far. But when I was younger, like in Australia, at the time we didn't even really have it on TV. But I started playing Madden, and I started using Donovan McNabb, and he was
Hmm.
sick. So since that moment, I was like, I'm an Eagles fan. Then I started playing more, Deshaun Jackson, and then uh, it's a dream now because in Australia at the moment, when I used to watch NFL, I have to wake up, 4 a.m. Monday morning, go to the gym, and put the NFL up on the screen. That was the only time I could watch it because the time zones are so different.
Would it be
So
would it
now
be on free TV though? Could you throw it on free TV at the gym the
either
next
free
week?
TV or I had to pay for the NFL.com $658 a month or whatever it is to see two games. But now I get up, it's Sunday afternoon. I've got the day off. I go down to the bar, I chill out, I have some brunch. Like, dude, this is the dream. And then Saturday, you got college football on. Like, I'm living the dream right now, man. This is so much easier.
No, in all seriousness, even though I hate the Eagles with a passion, a deep, deep, deep passion, I do love the city of Philadelphia, and WrestleMania in Philadelphia. That's gonna be pretty sweet for you too. Home of the Eagles.
Yeah, and I got to go to training camp earlier in the year. Hang out with Jordan Mailata. He's from 5 minutes from my house, which is kind of crazy to think about now what we're doing. And a lot of the Eagles boys were excited too. They were all, Jason Kelsey's telling us like, I'm going to be there. Like Lincoln Financial's right across the road. So being there in the stadium for like the preseason game and looking around and going, wow, there's going to be a wrestling show here. Like that stadium is enormous. And I know those Philly fans are diehard. They absolutely love it. So I don't think it's going to be a 2-night thing. I think it's going to be a week celebration of WWE.
So, is there a possibility that in the PLE before WrestleMania and at WrestleMania, if people know the word of how you feel about the Eagles, is it possible that you could be getting cheered instead of jeered at back-to-back PLEs?
Oh, that gave me chills, man. I didn't like that. I felt like a cold breeze just came through my hotel room. Like the one thing is with Australia, I'm always honest. I'm always real. I'm always me. I'm not going to be that person who's fake and, decides to go, I'm so glad I left Australia. Like, I'm better than that. Like, I love my home and I've repped it from the moment I walked in the doors here. So they decide to cheer me, I'm behind it. I'll do a shoey with that entire crowd. If they decide they don't like me too, I'll embrace it. I love that. But I think there's more chance of Australia cheering me than Philly because depending who I'm against up at, in Lincoln Financial, I can change a crowd pretty easily if I want to because it's more fun people hating me. Like I hate like when the fans go, oh, I'm such a big fan. I'm like, of course you are. Like I'm good. Like you should be a fan. Like I don't want to come here and sign an autograph and take a photo. Like such a waste of my time. I love it more when the fans are upset, when they're yelling at me, when I've ripped their sign. Oh, that.
You
That's what helps me sleep at night.
You seem to take pleasure too in coming up with the right thing to say to just really make a crowd get angry. Like, how much time do you spend like on a show day, on a TV day, when there's a Waller effect? How much time will you spend coming up with good things to really piss people off?
The problem with me, man, I think I might be sick a little bit because it's not just the day, it's the week. Like whenever I'm on my phone, like I'm paying attention to social media. I know what's going on. So then when I'm in a certain town, I know what's happening in that town because I don't want to be that person that comes around and just uses some cheap heat.
Huh?
Yeah. And just I feel that's lazy. I feel it's lazy as a wrestler if you just go in there and just say, you know what, your town sucks, or the Boston Red Sox are terrible. Right, like have some creativity, have some pride in your work, like put some effort in.
Where are you tonight?
We're in Phoenix, Arizona tonight, so I'm going to go down to ASU. I hear that place is fun, lads. I hope I don't have too much to do on the show. But I'm paying attention to everything. Like Colorado last week, I had that line from the coach from Colorado State where I said, to John Cena, like, when I talk to a grown-up, I take off my hat like my mother taught me. Like, yeah, that was a risk because if you aren't paying attention to social media or college football, like, you might not know. But the real ones do. And that crowd that night, trust me, as soon as I said it, they
were dialed in. They were dialed in.
Yeah, they knew I was taking shots at their boy Dion. And I think that's where that's real effort. You know what that crowd is going to be upset about. I think too many people are lazy and just expect the old tropes that they've done for years are going to work, and that's not me.
Speaking of last week in Colorado, let's keep it a buck. Were you you already had the John Cena segment booked when you heard that The Rock was all of a sudden going to be on the show? Were you like, he should be on the Waller effect?
I don't know if The Rock's ready for the Waller effect. He's been away a while. You know, I'm already helping out John Cena. Like, I've got a lot that I'm carrying right now. My back is sore from carrying these legends. So I don't know if Rock's a big boy. That's a lot to carry. But, you know, I was backstage. I wanted to go get my chapstick from the car. So I go to my car, I come back, and then all of a sudden, you know, people say, hey, you know, The Rock was here? I'm like, what are you talking about? The Rock wasn't here. Turns out he was. I ran through that venue. I checked every door, every room. That brother, as soon as he found out that I was coming back, and he got on his tour bus, him and Pat McAfee went back to Colorado to hang out with Deion Sanders. The Rock didn't want to bar Grayson Waller. Because, like, let's be real, I think Theory put it on him. I think Austin Theory, I think that was the best Theory's performed on the microphone.
He was great. He was great.
People at the moment, like, it's like a cool thing to say bad things about Austin Theory. That's because, like, he's good looking, he's young, he's talented, he's had so many more opportunities. If your mum or your sister saw him in person, they're going home with him. Like, I'd be jealous too. But that dude put it on The Rock. So, you know, watching it back later, I was very impressed with what Theory did. But then obviously as well, like, The Rock is the GOAT on the mic. On the mic, careful, John, for a reason. And it's just like, even now he's been away for so long, that the control he has over that audience is different. And I can appreciate that. He's a different level.
Would that be a dream come true to get to have the Rock on the Waller effect?
More than anything, because I always look at the Waller effect as, like, obviously it's an entertainment product, you know, where I like having the show. I like saying mean things to people, but, like, I see it as a test for myself, because I like to test myself against the best, because that's how I'm going to get better. So having someone like Cody Rhodes on the show, who's very good on the microphone, John Cena on the show, this is me testing myself. And I want to see where I'm at. And I think The Rock is the best. So that would be a great test for Grayson Waller to see where I'm at, you know. And I feel 100% I can compete and maybe even roll over him, which not many people can say they can do.
Well, it would also be nice for you to give him the Waller rub, you know, because The Rock, he's only got a few 100 million followers, you know.
Yeah, but he's out of work right now. He can't even film a movie. He's not allowed. You know, he's banned. There's the strike happening.
That's a good point.
So it's like,
he could use the rub.
I know he's at home, like, he's just sitting there all day. Like, what does he do? He's sipping Terramana 6 a.m.
How much Terramana can you drink, right?
Yeah, what am I going to do with my life? Like, I'm struggling. Like, this Grayson Waller kid, I can feel him. Hey, you know what? He's probably going to come backstage in Arizona today, grabbing at Hunter's jacket, going, please let me wrestle this guy in Perth. I really need it. And that's fair enough, Rocky. I get it.
All right, last two things for you. Number one, do you feel now everyone is sort of all over you in terms of how good you are on the mic? Do you still feel you have something to prove in the ring as a WWE superstar?
Well, I think you have something to prove every single night, because you never know someone who hasn't seen you before. And I know people, like, I pay attention online sometimes, you know, people like to say things about, like, in-ring, but, like, watch me in NXT, lad. Watch me against Edge. Watch me against Jey Uso. I'm competing against the best in the world, and I'm hanging. And you haven't even seen half the stuff that I can do. Like, my back pocket is full, and I'm just waiting for those opportunities to bring those things out. So I think I have to perform every single time I'm out, not just in ring, but on the mic. Because the day that I feel comfortable and I'm not thinking before I go out and I don't have the nerves, then I don't care anymore. And then I'm going to start phoning it in, and that's something I never want to do. So for me, every single opportunity in the ring, every single opportunity on the mic, backstage interview, talking to you on a podcast, this is my opportunity to push myself further, because I'm not where I want to be. I'm not here to be good. I'm here to be great. I think it's so easy right now. So many people can put WWE Superstar in their Instagram bio because they work for the company. But do you want to be a WWE Superstar? Or do you want to be a great one? Do you want to be one that people think about in 10, 20 years, that people look back on? Like, that's what I want. So I want to prove myself in the ring constantly and on the mic constantly.
Also, and that's really well said. Last thing, I've heard that you have some choice things to say about the home city of Cheap Heat, New York City. You're not a big fan.
Bro, I'm honest. Yeah, that's the one thing you can say a lot of things about Grayson Waller, but I'm honest. Man, New York City as a whole, like, it is one of the worst places I've ever been in my life. Like, people talk it up and, like, you get so excited. You can go to Times Square. It's so busy. There's too many people. There's some 45-year-old Mexican woman in an Elmo outfit begging me for a photo, and then trying to charge me after, going, hey, $100 for a photo. And then you walk the streets, there's trash everywhere. There is trash everywhere. It smells. It's expensive. Like, I don't know where the positive, maybe I have to get further out of the city, and then I can find some nice, but that city is hands down the worst place that I've ever been in my life. thank God for Madison Square Garden. At least that was fun. The rest of my time there was.
But after you got outside the garden, you were disgusted in general.
We had to go straight on the streets. Me and Pretty Deadly, we're three good-looking lads, Australia and England. We're rocking our kind of wear, you know. Maybe we don't dress like New Yorkers. We leave the arena, we have to get a taxi back to our place because the Ubers are ridiculous. Travel is impossible. The subway, bro, I ain't even talking about the subway. And we've got all these people trying to take photos with us. That was an absolute mess. So I'm sure we're going to be back in New York soon. I think we're in Brooklyn this.
You're in Brooklyn in December, yeah.
There we go. Okay, I think I've heard Brooklyn is a little bit better, so I'm going to try and go in with a fresh mind, a fresh perspective. Maybe Brooklyn is a little bit nicer.
Good for you. You know what? I think you're gonna. I really think you're gonna like Brooklyn.
I'm gonna hold you to that, and I'm gonna give you my review immediately when I leave. I'm just letting you know, but I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna give it a Yelp review.
Just do me a favor. Next time we were together on camera, can you do me a favor and not kiss me? Just no kiss this time.
I'm sorry. It was so hard because your head was like with the lights there. It was just glaring at me. It was like begging, like kiss his head, kiss his head, kiss his head. I just couldn't help myself, you know. But I will make sure next time I won't do that.
Thank you. I appreciate you respecting my boundaries.
You're more than welcome. This is the kind of guy I am. You know, people say a lot of mean things about Grayson Waller, but I'm a kind person.
I know that. Grayson Waller, Perth, Australia for Elimination Chamber. Congratulations, man. I know it's a very cool thing for you. Thanks for the time.
The Grayson Waller rub is taking over, baby. I can't wait for the chamber.